Hey guys, so today I'm going to be checking out a keyboard sent over by YUNZII. So if you're interested, you can check them out in the description below. They sent over this keyboard. It's called the Keynovo IF98, and the front of the box, you guys can see it's a pretty interesting design. I love the look of the box. So on the box we have a 2022 logo. One click to infinity, one click to infinity. I'm not sure what that means. You have the Keynovo branding right here. And on the top you can see I have the IF98. It's the green model and it has the Gateron Pro Red switches inside, and it's the wired mode only. And on the other side is a QR code to their website. On the back of the box is the same as the front, and on the top right here you can also see where it's manufactured and their website. And it has a warning right here that water and beverages can't be poured into the keyboard. Now let's unbox it and see what we get inside. So the first thing included is a YUNZII card with their website on it, and you can get in contact with them through these QR codes and through their social medias. The next thing is the quick start guide. So it has the RGB settings on there, what are the main features of the keyboard, what's included in the package, and a few of the keyboard settings. Besides that, you also get a cable right here which matches the color of the keyboard, and it is a coaxial cable and it's a type A to type C cable. It's a little bit cheap looking and feeling, but it's good that it's included in the box. And other accessories include a 2-in-1 switch and keycap puller, a pack of extra switches for the keyboard, and a bag with some spare and extra keycaps. And of course you get the keyboard wrapped up nicely in the box, but YUNZII also sent over some pretty cute stickers of an otter and a pretty nice looking sketchbook or notebook. And moving on to the keyboard, you can see that there's this cover included. I really like these covers. It basically helps to cover and protect the keyboard from dust when you're not using it. And taking out the keyboard, it looks awesome. So this is the YUNZII IF98. I have the teal or green color right here. I really love how it looks. But if you're not into this colorway, there's actually more options on their website and on Amazon. And taking a look at the front of the keyboard, you guys can see it's a 96% keyboard or a 1800 compact layout. I really like it. So all the keys are here, and there's actually a feature right here where you can open up this little badge and put in more of the keys. So this badge actually just pops out with the switch puller, and you can see that there's actually 4 more slots for switches if you want to use more of the switches. But if you don't want any extra switches, you can just put it back in place. I think it looks awesome. And this is what the side of the keyboard looks like. You guys can see it's kind of like a see-through or an opaque plastic. I really like how it looks, and there's a slight raise from the bottom to the top for a better typing experience, but there's no adjustable fit for you to increase the height with. And it's the same thing with the other side, so you can see the badge section right here which actually takes out the raw 4 of this corner. The bottom is pretty plain. You can just see through the plastic. Again, there's no branding here. And from the top you can see there's this piece of gold looking metal with a plaque like this that has a 1 click to infinity. I think it's their slogan on there. It's really shiny and nice looking, and to the right of that you can see the type C connection port. And this is the back of the keyboard. You can see the Keynovo logo right there, and there's actually slots right here for the wireless connection, but this model does not have it currently. Maybe they'll release one in the future. And inside the case you can kind of see through it is the PCB inside. And on the corners you have this round feet so the keyboard won't move around. And plugging it in, you guys can have a look at the RGB, and you can see this pretty cool indicator light right here next to the numpad. Overall, I would say the RGB is bright and saturated, but because I'm recording with pretty bright lights, you can't really see it, but it is there. And looking at the back, you can actually see the RGB shine through this opaque case, and it looks pretty cool. And taking a closer look at the keycaps, these are double shot PBT keycaps, and the profile is the OEM profile, so there's no interference with this north-facing PCB. Overall, I would say that the double shot is pretty good. You guys can see that the legends are sharp and nice, and overall the thickness is around 1.5mm, and that's pretty standard for double shot PBT keycaps. And the color is pretty saturated and nice. I would say it looks good in this colorway. As for the switches in this keyboard, I do have the Gateron Pro Red switches right here. So these being the Pro lineup of switches, they come pre-looped from the factory and you don't have to loop them. They come pretty smooth out of the box and they feel awesome as well. And of course, if you're not a fan of the red switches, they do have other options on their website. And this is what the switch looks like close up. So again, it's the red switch, so it's the linear switch. It does feel really smooth and it's looped already really nice. And the top housing is transparent, so it allows good shine through for the RGB. And on the back you can see it's 5-pin hot swap, and it has a cutout again for the RGB on the top. And as for the stabilizers, these are some plate mounted steps, and I got to say I'm pretty disappointed with the steps included. They look like the cheap OEM steps and they do rattle a lot, even though they come looped already, as you guys can see. During the typing sound test, there's actually a lot of rattling and it doesn't sound that good. And if you're wondering, yes, the PCB is hot swap. It's a 5-pin hot swap PCB, but it's north facing, so you do have to be careful if you're planning on switching out the keycaps. And I did open it up because I wanted to see how it looks like from the inside. All I did was remove the 6 screws and then the whole thing actually just opened up. And I would say be careful when you're opening it up because there is a ribbon cable connecting the daughter board to the PCB, and remember to be gentle with it and unplug it. So this is the plate and the PCB. We can take a closer look at the gasket structure. So this is what it sits on. It looks pretty good. There's like nibs right here that actually is quite flexible, and you can see on the right side and the left side there's these thicker silicone nibs. And in between the plate and the PCB there's actually 2 types of sound dampener. There's this silicone cutout right here which acts like the plate foam, and there's actually this thin piece of silicone going over the whole PCB and it acts like a foam sheet. And this is what the back of the PCB looks like. It looks pretty nice in this black color, and these are all of the hot swap sockets. They look pretty good and they're actually made by CIY. So this is what the bottom of the case looks like. It is pretty hollow, so you can add stuff in here if you want to dampen the sound more. It just houses the daughter board right here, and you can see there's actually a magnet right here because I think they'll be coming out with a wireless version soon, because this is actually a place to hold the battery and here is the place to hold the 2.4 GHz dongle. And this is the top frame, nothing much right here. It just houses this little badge to cover up the switches. So this keyboard is pretty interesting on the inside. Now let's move on to the typing sound test to hear how it sounds like. And yeah, that is how the keyboard sounds like. It does sound pretty good to me, but the only thing that spoils it is actually the stabilizers. They actually rattle a lot and they sound pretty bad. I actually really like the whole design and look of this keyboard, and everything seems to be working fine and it's pretty good for the price, but the only downside again are the stabilizers, so I recommend you change them out. But overall, it's a pretty cool looking keyboard, and if you want a 96% layout, there's not much that look this good in the market. So if you're interested, do check out the links in the description below. Everything will be listed there for you, and I want to say a quick thank you to YUNZII for sending over this keyboard for me to take a look at. And that does it for this video, guys. Leave a like on this video if you liked it, dislike this video if you didn't like it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I have even more keyboard content coming very soon, and as always, thanks for watching. Goodbye, guys.